This is Jarrod Horak, and this is my latest Belmont Stakes update. It is Sunday, June 2nd, and we're less than a week out from the Belmont Stakes. The Belmont Stakes will be run at Saratoga Racecourse on Saturday, June 8th, and the distance will be at 1.25 miles. Now, the Belmont Stakes draw will be Monday, June 3rd, but according to DRF, 10 horses entered the Belmont Stakes on Sunday, so they had early entries, and then they're going to have the post-position draw on Monday. So horses that I mentioned in some of my videos recently that are not running in the Belmont Stakes. Batten Down, I mentioned that he wouldn't be running in my last video. Fierceness, earlier in the week, it was mentioned that he wasn't going to be running. And then yesterday, when they said Mystik Dan would run and Torpedo Anna, the filly who won the Kentucky Oaks, was not going in the Belmont Stakes, she's going to run in the Grade 1 Acorn Stakes on June 7th at Saratoga, and she's already entered in that race. And then Tuscan Gold, it was announced today, will not be running in the Belmont Stakes. So we have 10 horses. Now I'm going to go through those horses in alphabetical order, beginning with Antiquarian for trainer Todd Pletcher. Now, I mentioned yesterday that he had a half-mile workout. We had a bunch of workouts yesterday on June 1st, and you can watch my workout video. I talked about all of those workouts in my last Belmont Stakes update. But for Antiquarian, he was first in the Peter Pan Stakes in his last start. He likes to stalk the pace, and John Velasquez will ride him in the Belmont Stakes. And he's one of 3 horses for trainer Todd Pletcher. Now, the next one is Dornoch for trainer Danny Gargan, and he's another one that worked yesterday. And for him, he showed good speed in his work yesterday, so most likely he's going to be a pace factor under Luis Saez. Now, Dornoch won the Grade 2 Remsen Stakes, defeating Sierra Leone, the likely Belmont Stakes favorite, by a nose last year. And then he started this year with a victory in the Grade 2 Fountain of Youth Stakes. He has good early pressing speed, disappointed in his last 2 starts, the Bluegrass Stakes and the Kentucky Derby. Honor Marie will be running in the Belmont Stakes, and Florent Giroux will be his rider. He was first in the Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes last year, second in the Louisiana Derby. He finished 8th in the Kentucky Derby. He's a deep closer. He's going to need some pace help. Mindframe has entered the Belmont Stakes for trainer Todd Pletcher, and he had a work in company with Protective yesterday, and Protective also in the Belmont Stakes. Now for Mindframe, Irad Ortiz Jr. will ride. This horse is 2 for 2 lifetime. He has a combined win margin of over 20 lengths, so he's dominated in both of his races. He has good early pressing speed, very lightly raced. He's a horse that has a lot of upside, and he could be a good one. We're going to find out how good he is when he takes on these seasoned stakes rivals. Mystik Dan is running in the Belmont Stakes for trainer Kenny McPeek. He's the only horse that has competed in all 3 Triple Crown Series races. And Brian Hernandez Jr., his regular pilot, will be aboard. Mystik Dan's been busy this year, first in the Southwest Stakes, and he was 3rd in the Arkansas Derby. Then he had that great inside trip in the Kentucky Derby, winning that race by a nose. And then he was 2nd in the Preakness Stakes. Typically, he likes to stalk the pace. That would be the trip that I would expect that he's going to get in the Belmont. Now, Protective for trainer Todd Pletcher, the 3rd Todd Pletcher trainee. This horse is still a maiden, so he has yet to win a race. But he was 3rd in the Wood Memorial and 3rd in the Peter Pan Stakes. He's a closer, and Tyler Gaffalione is going to ride him. So he's another one like Honor Marie. He's going to need a lot of pace help. Resilience. Now, Resilience for trainer Bill Mott. He's the one he decided to run. At first, Bill Mott thought he was going to run Batten Down in this race. They changed their mind. Batten Down's going to end up running in the Ohio Derby in a couple weeks. So Resilience, earlier this week, they said they would think about running in the Belmont Stakes for him, and he had a workout on June 2nd, and it was a strong workout. Now, we had a lot of workouts on June 1st. I mentioned that, and none of them were really impressive. They were just maintenance moves, but Resilience had a nice workout on June 2nd. 4 furlongs and 48 flat, second best of 30 on the dirt training track at Saratoga. Now, the opening quarter, 25.10 seconds, and then he finished his final quarter in 22.78 seconds, so he was really going well at the end of that workout. He was out 5 furlongs in 1:95, 6 furlongs in 1:14.31. So Resilience is one that big workout here, and he's got the ability to be a contender in the Belmont Stakes. Resilience added blinkers, and he won the Grade 2 Wood Memorial, stalking the pace. That was prior to the Kentucky Derby. And then in the Kentucky Derby, he did not have a good trip. He was out in post 18. He had a wide stalking trip. He made a menacing 5-wide move around the far turn. And while he was doing that, Mystik Dan was saving all of the ground. And they were in similar positions. But the difference was Mystik Dan was saving all that ground. He scooted up the inside. Resilience was 5 wide, and then he flattened out in the stretch, and he ended up finishing 6th. But for Resilience, he has a lot of ability. He's some tactical speed. Belmont's just mostly concerned about the 1.25 mile distance because he didn't get it in the Kentucky Derby, but he didn't have an ideal trip or an ideal post. Let's see what kind of post he ends up getting. I think if you're playing the Belmont, for sure, Resilience, you can definitely consider him somewhere in the top 3. Now, Seize the Gray, your Preakness winner, he traveled from Churchill Downs to Saratoga, and he arrived at Saratoga on Saturday night on June 1st. Jaime Torres is his rider, and he was first in the Pat Day Mile, first in the Preakness Stakes. He has good early pressing speed favoring wet track in the Preakness. He was able to just wire the field there and expect that he's going to be all over the pace again in the Belmont Stakes. Now, Sierra Leone, your likely Belmont Stakes favorite, he worked with a new cage bit yesterday. I mentioned that in that video. And then he has a new rider as well, Flavien Prat. So Sierra Leone's making some changes. So they're trying to get him to not lug in and run a better race as opposed to his Kentucky Derby, which lugging in definitely cost him the race that day. Prior to the Kentucky Derby, he was first in the Risen Star, first in the Bluegrass Stakes. So he's been right there in all of his starts, and his only 2 losses, he lost by a nose both times. So Sierra Leone is one, a lot of ability, but he is a closer. So he's going to need some pace help. And finally, the Wine Steward is the last horse to have entered the Belmont Stakes. Now, this one worked at Churchill Downs on June 1st. His rider's to be announced because Luis Saez, his usual rider, he ends up going on Dornoch. But for this one, Manny Franco did guide him home in the Funnyside Stakes at Saratoga last summer. He's available, so we'll see if they go with Manny Franco, they go with another rider, but his rider is to be determined. And he was second in the Breeders' Futurity at the end of his 2-year-old season, and then this year he was second in the Lexington, second in the Peter Pan. Just not sure the 1.25 mile distance does him any favors. He's a New York bred, very consistent horse. He always goes out there and runs his race. So those are the 10 horses that are running in the Belmont Stakes. Now, after they draw post positions on Monday, I'll be back and I'll do another video, and I'm going to keep doing these Belmont Stakes videos as we get closer to the 2024 Belmont Stakes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this horse racing content, and if you're interested in my Belmont Stakes full card. I do these Triple Crown Series full cards every year. I've been doing full cards online since the late 1990s. And I'm going to be covering full cards for all 4 days at the Belmont Stakes Festival at Saratoga. That's June 6th through 9th. And you can find those full cards at therunawayrhorse.com on my sales page. Now, the Belmont Stakes, I've had a lot of success the last 10 years, winning tickets in my full cards, 8 of the last 10 years in the Belmont Stakes. The Belmont, definitely my most successful Triple Crown Series race in the last decade. During that same time, I hit the Preakness 6 times, Kentucky Derby 3 times. So the Belmont Stakes is a race that I've always had a lot of success in, and hopefully I can continue that this year. And if you want $3 off my Belmont Stakes full card, viewers of this video, look in the description in this video, and you're going to find a promo code that you can go to therunawayrhorse.com on my sales page. Use that promo code to get $3 off my Belmont Stakes full card. And if you're interested in past performances for the Belmont Stakes or any of the days for Saratoga, the 4-day Belmont Stakes Festival, you'll be able to get those past performances at todaysracingdigest.com. And then you can also read my Belmont Stakes articles on the Digest website. So that'll wrap up my look at the Belmont Stakes today. We have a 10-horse field. We're getting closer to the big race now. And again, keep checking my YouTube channel for all these video updates. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.